I was a drug kingpin working for the most infamous cartel in the world, moving tons of cocaine weekly, making $1 million a day at my peak, and having it all crash. So that darkest moment in my life, it would have to be, going from laundering money for the cartel and moving tons of cocaine for them. When I crossed that line, that was the darkest point of my life, knowing that I was looking at that life sentence, knowing that now I've crossed the line where you're separating the men from the boys, as they call it, because you're not going to be doing, a 2-3 year prison sentence for illegal money laundering or for bookmaking. When you cross that line of moving cocaine for anybody, whether it's the cartel, the mafia, Crips, Bloods, whatever it may be, once you start moving that kind of product, you're opening up a whole new life. You're looking at a minimum of 10 years, right? A mandatory minimum of 10 years for distributing cocaine. So that for sure was the darkest part of my life, knowing that I crossed that line. For sure, I knew what I was doing, right? I knew I wanted to be that big shot. I knew I wanted to be that man with the power, the respect, those women around. And like I always talk to my partners, we know we're not dealing with apples and oranges, right? We're dealing with kilos of cocaine, bricks, birds, whatever you want to call it. We're doing something illegal that puts you away for a very long time.
What was appealing about that lifestyle? Was there apart from the obvious, right? Apart from the women, apart from that, what was it that showed you that lifestyle was possible? Obviously, don't name drop them, but were there people in that position that you almost looked up to in a sense?
Yeah, the power it brought to you. I looked up to these Pablo Escobars, Chapo Guzmans, Miles Zambatas, and I saw these figures and I was like, wow, I want to be the man. I want to be like them. Like, how can I move like them? How can I create money, power, and wealth like them? How can I have a narco corrido written about me like these guys, right? That was like your dream, to fly on a private jet, have armored security, women all around you, going into restaurants and having it shut down because you're the man. That's the lifestyle I wanted at that time. I thought that was the number one thing in the world, like, you're the man. And it took 10 years in prison to realize, like, I don't want to be that guy.
Obviously, when you're living that lifestyle, I'm sure paranoia starts to creep in, right? As you get deeper and deeper, your paranoia, I'm sure, grows. Was there a point in which you realized that it was all or nothing? What was that turning point like, where you knew you were either going to be king of the world or you were going to sit in a prison cell for the rest of your life?
That turning point came when I got indebted that big money to the cartel. And I knew when they told me I had to go work for them that my life was over. On September 9th, 7:10 a.m. at the Aviara Country Club in Carlsbad, 15 FBI agents surrounded me, put me in cuffs, and my new life finally began. Since then, I've spent nearly a decade in prison. I earned my master's degree while incarcerated, started my business, California Ice Protein, and I have committed myself to giving back to the community that I once took advantage of. I've only just begun my journey of redemption.
Y mi gente siempre alerta, arisco siempre de más.